You're good, I think.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Triple Threat Show. I will be your host for the day today, and my name is Shane Brisland, joined by my fellow friends and co-hosts.
Jeremy Lapidus.
Hayden Raymer.
And we're also joined by special guest, my twin brother,
Evan.
So, hello, everybody. And as you can see, Jeremy's in a different location than usual. Jeremy, where are you right now?
I am currently in Israel doing Birthright. For those who don't know what that is a thing for, every person who's Jewish gets to go on a trip to Israel. And it's a lot of fun. Been here for 5 days now. I'll be back next week, maybe. I don't know. I come back like the 29th, so I don't know when that is. But it's a lot of fun so far. Yes, I am in Israel currently. I am 7 hours ahead of you guys, so it is officially the morning time for me.
Yeah.
So good morning.
So when he
everyone.
says good morning at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, it's actually good morning there in Israel. Mm-hmm. So I guess Jeremy's just always on Israel time.
Always.
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing so far about your trip?
We went to Jerusalem. We toured the old city. That was pretty cool. Went to Svat today. There was a lot of really cool art there. Just hanging out with people, meeting new people. It's been a lot of fun.
How's the food there?
It's good. You get like falafels and shawarma.
Oh, shawarma sounds so good.
Delicious. Good shit.
All right. Hey, Aiden, how are you doing? Has your week been? Even though it's probably not going to top anything that Jeremy's done, but
it definitely has. I worked 39 hours and 24 minutes at Dollar Tree.
He got the minutes too.
I got the minutes. I also got promoted.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
I thought you weren't gonna do that.
I didn't want to, but they metaphorically put a gun to my head. So
that's fun.
About how much do you make an hour?
13 now.
Ooh,
yeah, it's more than us.
Payday.
Yeah. I'm starting work tomorrow at Lowe's, and I'm only getting paid $12.30. But like my job is probably a lot less strenuous than yours.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be a manager, and you get to stand by doors.
Yeah, I pretty much pretend I know something about doors, and then if it's slow, there's really not much for me to do.
Yeah.
Besides straighten up the aisles, but that's a very low stress job.
I just tell people what nails or screws they should use. And
Evan also works at the same Lowe's. He works in hardware.
Also, I know a little bit about doorknobs.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
My dad used to. Lowe's. Yeah, my dad used to work there, so it's funny to have all three of us there.
And also I cut keys.
You cut keys.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny because
stick a key into a machine, the machine cuts the keys, and I just
it's not much, but it's honest living.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was funny because one time a customer went up to our manager and was like, "Man, this guy, he does everything. He's over in hardware doing this, and then he's in millwork doing that." It's like, wow, he's such a versatile employee.
And it was just you.
Yeah, and it was just no, sorry, it's just two separate people. They just look alike.
Well, I mean, you as in you guys. My bad. Sorry,
yeah.
just.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a show.
He cuts his
today.
hair so quickly and then grows it all back. It's so weird.
He changes his haircut so often.
We do have a chatter, guys.
A what?
A chatter. And they asked, "What's up, Brizzies, you pigeon? You talk about beer league ship yet?" So.
Oh yeah, so that's what we did on our weekend. This weekend we're in a charity hockey tournament, and my team won. And then the guy who probably commented, Evan's team unfortunately not so great.
Hey, we won the C League final. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
they lost. Both winners here.
Yeah, both winners. I got absolutely carried. Oh yeah, I got absolutely carried by my teammate because he played juniors, so he's anyway, he was just smoking everybody, so he pretty much carried the team there, but I contributed sometimes, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, so in my finals game, it went to a shootout. and I scored like the game tying goal in the shootout. Then we eventually won in the shootout.
All right.
Snaps
Yeah.
for that. Honestly,
It was a very nice goal. I was there to see it. It was very fun.
good job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody
Yeah.
is. Anyway, we have a
Like, I
show to
wasn't
get
proud of
to.
you.
So let's start this show off by talking about hockey.
Hockey.
First off, we're going to talk about the awards. So first
There's
off, let's
no
go with
JV
the
sports news.
Yeah, it's the summer. There's not much going on.
What do you mean? We got Fenwick Trimble is playing for the Winchester, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the College Bat Summer League in the Shenandoah Valley.
Wow.
Yeah, for the Winchester Royals. Yeah,
Ooh, the Winchester
Jamie
Royals.
Freshman had a good year.
He did have a good year. You're right.
He did have a good year. Anyways, yeah, hockey. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Awards?
So let's awards. The nominees for Coach of the Year came out. Yeah, Jeremy, are you getting your mute button confused with the? Because there's a lot of
Kind of can hear
background
your
noise coming from
family
your
in the
end.
background.
There we
the
go.
Lobby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for Coach of the Year, we have the nominees came out: Daryl Sutter of the Calgary Flames, Andrew Brunetti of the Florida Panthers, and Gerard Gallant of the New York Rangers. So, in my personal opinion, I think Daryl Sutter deserves this award. Like, all these coaches did a great job, but I think Daryl Sutter did the most to elevate his team, because Calgary had a down season last year, and then this season that Tkachuk, Elias Lindholm, Goudreau line went off, and their defense looked so much better. And it's just Florida was already stacked to begin with, and I mean, and so it's just like, even though he became a head coach after the whole Quenneville incident, that team was just stacked to begin with so much offensive talent. And then Gerard Gallant, it's more like his team was heavily carried by goaltending. So I think if we're talking about individual coach contribution to a team, I think Daryl Sutter gets it.
See, I'm gonna go with the Rangers coach, Gallant. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, at the end of last year, the Rangers fired their entire front office and head coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of their whole response to the Capitals situation. And then this dude comes in, makes them I'm not sure if he brought in a Vezina. Yeah. Brought in a Vezina winning goalie probably. And he
Wasn't Shesterkin already there?
Yeah, he was already there.
Was he already there?
Yeah,
he
this
was
is
already
his
there.
third season in the NHL.
All right, but he turned him into a Vezina winning goaltender.
Compliment to the goalie coach, not the head coach.
Yeah.
Look,
he brought in that goalie coach though. All right.
He did bring in
Possibly,
that goalie coach.
I don't know.
Look, generally when a new coach is hired, the whole coaching staff goes with him. And the work he did to turn that to get that team to where they are now is something that I think deserves, because Florida was already a very, very good team. They improved, but they didn't improve nearly as much as the Rangers did, and I think that has a lot to do with their coaching here.
Evan, you want to go? Who do you think?
I know I'm agreeing with Shane. Daryl Sutter should probably win that award, because the Calgary from last year versus the Calgary from this year is two completely different teams. And like I said, or like what Shane said, that line, all three of those guys had 40 goals plus, Jacob Markstrom had the most shutouts. Like, it was a team effort for all the offense to improve, the defense to improve, and goaltending to improve. Like that, the only thing that was different was the players being more used to Sutter, and Sutter, bringing up the best out of his players. Then Brunetti, that team's already stacked, and Quenneville was fired early in the season. Then again, for the Rangers, I don't really like what they did off season, and I believe that most of their success from this season came from goaltending, not really coaching.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of both.
Everything you guys said. Other than Jeremy. Jeremy, you're wrong.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts my feelings.
Everything you said is wrong. You should probably never talk about hockey ever again. Because you clearly know
You're
nothing.
right. I'm sorry. I'll hang up. I'm sorry.
You better be.
All right. So moving on, we have the Selke Trophy.
Oh, we're moving on. Okay.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Okay. I thought Hayden was going to give some thoughts.
that was all I had. I mean, I
Yeah.
disagree with everything they said.
Good
It's
job.
just gonna be me saying the same things they said. That was just, yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
All right, so
What is the Selke Award trophy?
Right.
Whatever.
I was going to explain it. So the Selke Trophy is awarded to the best defensive forward in the NHL, and the final nominees for that award are Patrice Bergeron of the Boston Bruins, Sasha Barkov of the Florida Panthers, and Elias Lindholm of the Calgary Flames.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Why is this necessary?
Why is this a necessary award? I don't know.
Why is this necessary?
Best defensive forward.
This is not necessary.
Why
this is not an award that is needed.
Why don't you think it's necessary? Let's get to that discussion first.
All right. Think about this.
See, I thought it was best forward. I'm going to be completely honest this entire time.
See, yeah, best forward would be fine. Best defensive forward?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, the award is from what it has been. It's basically the best overall forward for both like offensive and defensive aspects, because that's pretty much how like it's decided at this point, honestly.
Okay, well then that's fine. But if it's just simply the defense, then it's kind of you're like discounting an entire side of the game, and you're just I don't know.
I think basically it's like stupid basketball for like defensive player of the year or something like that, right?
No, but that's different. That's different. Yeah. If you did best defensive player, fine. In basketball, it doesn't go best defensive center, best defensive guard. It doesn't do that.
That's an interesting argument you bring up. That's an interesting argument because I never thought of it that way before. Just because I just thought it just shines a light on the forwards who are more responsible for like penalty killing and stuff like that, which is a huge part of team defense, and then face-off percentage, because you don't really shine the light you don't really shine the light on defensive players as much because it's such an underrated position. And if it's only forward, you're just gonna admire like the Connor McDavids and stuff like that every single year because they produce the most offense.
Right. And it's not like it's not like they don't deserve recognition. It's just It's kind of a stupid award.
Wait. Okay. Are we done with this conversation? Real quick. Have a quick tangent.
I mean, I can give a little bit of the origin.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead, and then I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, from what I heard, it's like there's this Montreal player back in like the 70s and stuff like that, and he was a really good two-way forward. And they, for some reason, they were like, you know what? We need to give this guy for award. So for this forward, for how well he plays defense. And that's the gist of how the award came to be. And the guy who won the Selke Trophy, won it 3 times in a row when it first came out. So it's like, I get Hayden's point. I mean, I get Jeremy's point about why this award is weird.
Well, Jeremy, if you think this award is weird, you should wait till we mention this other award.
Yeah.
And you'll see how much useless that award is in comparison. All right, Hayden, you had a question?
Useless, but I know I have another equivalent to that one, but yeah.
Ooh.
So Hayden, you had a
Jeremy's little lighting change that was cute. So I don't know if you listened to the show that we had this conversation. The other 3 of us had. Is it just me, or is it all these funky names for all these awards just more confusing than it needs to be?
I agree. Yeah.
It makes no sense. I think it's really dumb. Just call it the best defensive forward award, or whatever, best two-way forward award, and then be done with it. Don't name it after some guy who was kind of good in the 70s. Or
a random
player,
general manager or owner who contributed to the National Hockey League.
It's just dumb.
Yeah. Well, I think the NHL is very big on like just maintaining legacy, and it's a bunch of old-fashioned white guys, so it's like they're going to care about that legacy and just carrying it on. So I think that's why they kept the names, and no one bothered to simplify it. That's kind of my theory behind it.
Hayden for commissioner.
Honestly, I'm all
yeah.
Yeah,
everyone hates
anyone would have replaced Bettman.
Like, actually, in what sport do people actually like the commissioner? Or doesn't the NBA? Yeah, and I'm just saying,
Adam Silver is a very good. Yeah. Adam Silver is a very good commissioner.
Besides the NBA, I've never heard good things about a professional sports commissioner.
Well, yeah, you usually don't.
Well, it's because like the commissioner, at least in the sport, most sports, I think, right? They're appointed by the owners, right?
And that's how it is. Yeah. They're hired by the owners to be the spokesperson, basically.
And so, of course, people are gonna hate I forgot I can say bad words again.
Yeah.
They hate the fucking quadrillionaire guys who aren't in touch with the league, and they kind of just want to make the most profits. Like, that makes sense.
Well,
yeah, they're gonna cater towards the guys who hired them.
Mm-hmm. And not the fans, which is how it should be, because that's what sports are for. Just us to sit here and talk about it. Nobody else, though. Just us four right here.
Just us.
Us four.
Just us.
That's what sports are for. Or who sports are for.
All right. So going back to this frivolous award nomination, the finalists, as I said before, were Patrice Bergeron, Sasha Barkov, and Elias Lindholm. And what I think is that Patrice Bergeron should win this award again. Like, this award was pretty much made for guys like Patrice Bergeron. He's never going to put up the flashy offensive numbers that you see McDavid and McKinnon do, but it kind of shows just how dominant he is of a defensive player. Mm-hmm. So this is the 11th consecutive time he's been nominated for this award, which ties the record for most times a player has been consecutively nominated for an award with Wayne Gretzky. And Wayne Gretzky was nominated 11 times in a row for the MVP.
He's pretty good at hockey.
Oh, yeah. So whenever Gretzky's thrown in the conversation, you're just all right at hockey. And so, yeah, Patrice Bergeron, he's always been known as a do-it-all center. He can contribute on offense when he needs to. He's had his moments where he was clutch in the playoffs. He kills penalties. He's on the power play. He can do anything. He's the most commonly – a lot of people state him as the most complete player in the NHL. And then he has a Corsi of 64%, which is like tied for second in the league. And Corsi is pretty much – it's like shot attempts. So out of all the shot attempts, when Patrice Bergeron is on the ice, Boston Bruins were responsible for over 60% of them. So that means whenever Patrice Bergeron is on the ice, he's preventing shot attempts for the other team, and his team is maintaining possession and getting more scoring opportunities than the other team.
Real quick, I can't remember. Is Corsi the one that it does not include the thing, or is that Fenwick?
Fenwick is the one that
doesn't
include blocked shots.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was my one question.
Yeah. So it's just like, in general, Boston is always going to get more scoring opportunities when Patrice Bergeron's on the ice. So that's why I think he's going to get the award for the 5th time. And I think he's going to go down, if he retires, I think he's a Hall of Famer just for going down as one of the best defensive forwards of all time.
Evan, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he was also a big part of that Stanley Cup run they had in 2011. And also, he's a Boston captain. And again, throughout his career, he's just been a solid player. And he's probably, the most complete forward of the 2010 decade.
Do you think he wins the award, though?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's rumors of him probably about to retire. So it's might as well give it to him.
I hate that logic.
It's the NHL.
It's the NHL. Here's the thing: when it comes to Selke, it's not as predictable as something like the MVP or the Norris or something.
No, but with the NHL, they're all about legacy. They like to spread the wealth, because I know Pekka Rinne and Marc-Andre Fleury, they pretty much got Vezinas for the whole legacy argument was definitely a deciding factor, even though no one will say it out loud. Like they definitely was in the voters' minds.
Yeah.
See, when I was doing research for this, right?
Yeah.
I spent like 15 minutes like looking stuff up, and then now I'm here finding out that it's the best defensive forward and not the best forward award. Which literally
Yeah, because it was
everything.
like, what the hell? Barkov should win this easily.
I was like, out of the people, well, I was gonna say Lindholm, but that's.
Oh yeah, Lindholm had a great season.
Lindholm had a great season as well. Yeah.
Barkov was injured a lot this season, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he just had the best rate stats that I could find. I can't even remember what they were, but he was like the best. And so I was like, okay, yeah, easy. He's a flame. Like, just it all works out for me, And yeah, now it's just I don't even know who it is because I just wasted 15 minutes of my life looking up the wrong things. And this is why you should not name them after some random player from the 70s and actually name it what it is. All right? I think even the NHL Instagram account said the best forward.
Defensive forward.
I'm looking at the NHL Instagram account right now because maybe I am illiterate, so that might be the issue here, but...
All right, well, Hayden's looking that up. Jeremy, I would like to hear your thoughts on this award. No?
I'm gonna go with no. There's a lot of people here right now. No,
gotcha.
That's not it. Anyway, no. The thing with this is, stupid awards get stupid prizes. So I think this award will go to the most unpredictable name of all. This award will go to Hayden Raymer because this award is stupid.
We had the conversation.
I don't think this award is that stupid. Well, it's just
so dumb. No,
it's not that.
There's understand how dumb this
forwards.
Is.
Well, if you play ice hockey, there are roles on the team that some players do and some others don't. There are like forwards on the team that are strictly, hey, your job is to score. You don't have to be defensively responsible. And then you have the forwards who like back check. They work hard. They kill penalties. Like that's their specialty. That's their job. And
I understand that.
Players.
And I understand that, and they've that in like almost every sport. But it doesn't mean you need to make a whole ass award just so they can get one. Just because some players just aren't going to. Some of them are just going to be role players. They're not going to be those stars. It's just how sports works. There's a reason that prestige is the way it is. You're not handing out participation trophies to everyone. Not that this is a participation trophy. This is obviously hard to get, but at the same time, you're making so many qualifications. It has to be a forward. It has to be solely based on defense, which, based on what I heard, this is
it's the best
Bergeron's award to lose.
Best forward who excels at both aspects of the game.
I totally read over the defensive part. It's best defensive forward, but I just saw the word forward. It was like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go look at a bunch of offensive stats because it's a forward. Who cares about defense? Apparently you do in hockey. I don't know. What do I know?
It's like the criteria is like, all right, who's a forward who kills penalties and gets a lot of points. That's pretty much like what's kind of come down to.
Yeah, in my opinion, like the award is kind of straight away for what it should be because as a Minnesota fan, Eriksson, Ek, and Foligno should be like, nominees or like finalists for these awards because these guys do the same thing. It's just they don't get as many points as the front runners.
Oh yeah, and if you're a hardcore hockey fan, like Mikko Koivu, it's a crime this man didn't get the award. Like just because he didn't put up the offensive numbers, but he was one of the best defensive players in the league for a while. So yeah, I see what you're saying, Jeremy. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Jeremy, but I feel like it's definitely has its place in the league, but the voting can kind of seem frivolous at times.
And no, like wait until you get to like one of the other awards. Just one of the awards I think is pretty meh.
Yeah, that you'll hate this next award even more.
Yeah, do you want to mention it or can I do it?
Any final thoughts before we move on to the award that Jeremy will just like freak out over?
I've said my piece.
All right, so the most frivolous award, I believe, in the NHL is the Lady Byng Trophy. And the Lady Byng Trophy is pretty much the sportsmanship award. So it's pretty much who's a good player that didn't get a lot of penalties.
And so, Jeremy, when you said that I should be nominated for an award, this is the one I think I should be nominated for because I didn't
see. This is where difference comes in. This is where a difference comes in because you know who else hasn't had a penalty all season? Shane Brisland.
Yeah, I know. I should be nominated for the award too.
Yeah.
Not only is he a good player, which is part of the criteria here.
Are you saying I'm not a good player?
Wow, Jeremy.
I'm the best
defensive last time.
Towards Hayden.
It couldn't have been you last time, Shane, because you were a defenseman. Therefore, you were automatically disqualified.
Yeah. Oh, he's trying to spread the wealth. What a good guy.
No, Evan doesn't get anything, and neither do I.
Well, that's what I get for being 48 seconds younger. So
it's okay. You're the better.
I get the older brother advantage.
Anyway, Shane gets it. He, as far as I know, he's never stepped foot in an NHL penalty box. Yeah. So, Shane deserves this award. Yeah, but like you already got an award, you don't get two.
No.
All right, Shane, nominees.
Yeah, so the nominees for that one were Jared Spurgeon of the Minnesota Wild, Jacob Slavin of the Carolina Hurricanes, and Kyle Connor of the Winnipeg Jets. And
why not pick a dude that just never played?
Lars Eller.
like wasn't there a dude that he played I forget his name. He retired like last week. He was the dude that played the most NHL games.
Oh, wait.
But he didn't play.
Patrick Marleau.
But he didn't play last season.
Yeah.
He did not play last season.
He does have a Lady Byng though.
And he didn't play last season.
He has a Lady Byng award.
He deserves to win it again because he spent this many minutes in the penalty box.
Yeah.
And he's probably pretty good at hockey.
Oh yeah. So it's just speaking of which, I think Kyle Connor gets this award. He only had 4 penalty minutes, for like a top line forward only having 4 penalty minutes. I think it's very impressive. Also a really good season on a bad Winnipeg team this year. That's my piece about it. And I think it's funny that they nominated Jared Spurgeon just because I know it's based on the regular season, but in the playoffs, there's a clip of him like cross-checking a player's ankles while he's down on the ice.
I believe.
Yeah, so it's just funny to see that he, after he almost, he should have got suspended for that, after almost intentionally going after someone's ankles, that he gets nominated for the Sportsmanship Awards players.
Yeah, by the way, Shane, Marleau did not win a Byng.
He didn't?
No.
I think he got nominated for one.
Yeah, he's got nominated.
Marleau a Byng.
Yeah. Marleau for
Get
Lady
it trending,
Byng.
Hayden. Get Marleau a Byng.
0 penalty minutes this season.
I'm on it.
So, Jeremy, do you think that award's more useless than the Selke?
Byng.
Yes, slightly. Just slightly. Like on the scale, this is the MVP award up here.
Yeah.
This is the forward defenseman award.
Yeah.
And this is the Lady Byng award.
Yeah, the Sportsmanship.
You said get Byng the Malibu, right?
No, get Marleau the Byng.
My bad.
What did you do?
What did I do?
What did you do?
I got get Byng the Malibu trending.
Malibu. Oh man. All right, so that's all I wanted to talk about for the awards. There's some other non-major awards. But
I mean, I would like to talk about them.
Okay, Evan, you're a special guest. What do you want to talk about? What other awards would you like to mention on top?
One award I would like to talk about just to round it off is the Bill Masterton, and it's basically the equivalent of the Comeback Player of the Year award, except not really.
Because it's more about story than
because it's more about story about coming back in.
I mean, that's how they all are. That's how they all are.
But
for the nominees, we have Kevin Hayes, Carey Price, and Zdeno Chara. Now, Kevin Hayes, if you don't know, is that his brother died of a drug overdose the summer of last year.
Yeah.
So
we've mentioned him on the show before, yeah.
Yeah. Then Carey Price was dealing with mental health issues and stuff like that.
Substance abuse problems.
Every game except for the last 5 games because of it. So
I have a question. Didn't Carey Price not play this season?
He played
the last few games.
Yeah, he was kind of thrown in for some like meaningless games, like when they were out of playoffs.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, he was going through, I believe, like pain reliever addiction problems and other various injuries and mental health issues like that. And then, of course, Kevin Hayes he had a rough summer. His brother, Jimmy Hayes, died of a drug overdose. It was a very sad story. Just losing your brother and then trying to like continue on playing. It's like a tough season for him. Like it was phenomenal that he was able to power through it. And then Zdeno Chara, I don't really know what his story is. I think it's just because
most
he's
games
old.
played by a defenseman. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just an older player. So I'm like, yeah, I give it to him. So it's just good stories from those players. I'm not really gonna try to predict it. It's just all of them. I think probably Kevin Hayes. Kevin Hayes is probably gonna get it just because his brother was such a sad story.
Yeah,
and I think just having that happen.
Because like he died like a week after his like son's birthday. So it's just heartbreaking. Yeah.
It's more sad the more you hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our hearts go out to the Hayes family. It's just a brutal thing. Any other trophies you want to talk about?
King Clancy, just want to mention the nominees because it's basically the equivalent of the NFL for like the person that, gave the most to charity and stuff, that kind of thing. Nominees are Subban, Getzlaf, and Nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big award. Those are important.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention those before we go.
Just like the Bing Award.
Just like the Bing Award.
Hashtag
Bing for Marlowe.
Hashtag
Marlowe for Bing.
Hashtag Marlebos for Bing.
All right. So moving on, we also have we had some news and contract extensions. So Mark Giordano signed a 2-year deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs at $800,000. It's pretty much like an extension for a veteran defenseman to like mentor the young guys. So that's a good contract for the Leafs, very good value. And then the big extension was for Brian Rust of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He re-signs a 6-year, $30 million contract. So the AAV is like slightly above $5 million. So just what are your general thoughts on that contract?
I'll go first. Honestly, looking at the average, I thought that was a pretty good deal for Brian Rust, who has been like slightly above a point per game like these past 2 years. And like if you saw how he performed without Malkin and Crosby in the lineup, I think it's like a perfectly reasonable, if not great value contract for Pittsburgh.
Underpaid, definitely got a hometown discount in there. I think it's a great deal for Pittsburgh if they're still trying to contend.
Also, he helped me win my fantasy. So,
all right, Jeremy, your thoughts on the Red Rust deal?
I mean, aren't they having to pay like their old core?
Yeah, that brings up issues with how much they have left to pay their old core, and if like
so they're just letting them walk. Then is what I'm getting out of this.
If I had to bet anything,
wants to do.
Yeah, it depends what the owners and the GM wants to do. If I'm a betting, I don't think Malkin's staying.
I attempt to re-sign Malkin before I go for anyone else. That's what I do.
I think I think Letang is more important than Malkin at this point.
Because from our experience, Malkin has been injured a lot
injury prone
over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't know how much his body's gonna last.
You're going to pay an old injury prone player to a big deal. That's just disaster waiting for you.
Well, I never said big deal. You got to pay your players,
Yeah. But
the problem is it's just very high risk and very high reward. Where Brian Rust doesn't get injured as often, still point a game. And Letang's also still a pretty decent defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both offered Letang and Malkin 3-year, $15 million contracts, which is about $5 million a year, which is
that was good math, Shane.
Huge underpayment.
Huge underpayment for those guys. Because Letang's still a number 1 defenseman power play quarterback. For how long, who knows? but he's like both of them at least 7 million. At least. Like that's the starting number you're talking with. Like in the open market, they could get upwards of 8-9 million if a team's willing to overpay that much.
All right.
Because it's the two most valuable positions. You have your offensive defenseman, power play quarterback, and your second line, potentially first line center, depending on what team. Like those are two very valuable positions. Like they could make bank in free agency. It's just how much Pittsburgh wants to give them that money, bank, and the hometown discount they're willing to get. But I'm not optimistic about having both of them come back. I think if I'm Pittsburgh, if I'm letting one of them walk, it's Malkin.
It's fair. It's fair.
You guys have anything else to add?
No. But you were saying quarterback, though, right? Just so I wasn't. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just because the first time you said it, it threw me off, and then you said it again, and I was like, okay, never mind.
Because
I don't know hockey terminology.
It's pretty much the guy who's like dishing the puck around on the power play. You call him the power play quarterback.
Yeah.
Because the defenseman has like.
It was just the first time I heard it, I thought I misheard you, and then that's all.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, hockey terminology.
Hockey terminology.
Right.
Stealing it from other sports because they got nothing going on. What can I say? Classic hockey.
Damn.
Classic hockey.
I can't even try to defend myself there. It's true.
Yeah, even though like I think the NHL and ice hockey has been around longer than American football, but yeah.
Well, I mean, they didn't start calling it that until I'm sure it was called something like the power play, the dude beforehand, not the quarterback.
The power play dude.
Yep, that's what it was. Just the dude.
No, you got to add the A at the end of it because it started like power play dude, eh? That's what they called it back in the day. All right. Now let's finally get into our playoff talk. All right. So what series do you guys want to talk about first?
I actually have to go to bed because it is almost 1 a.m. So I will leave you guys the rest of the show.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
This is going great. Have fun, guys.
Well,
I will. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Talk to you later.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye.
Okay, now I need to move that name there, and then hide Jeremy's name, and we're good.
Right.
Oh no, not. Yeah, you're good. All right, playoffs. You want to start with the fun one, Edmonton, and Edmonton. Sorry.
We're gonna start with like the best one at first.
Sure.
I mean, you gotta start with that one first. It's like the fun one.
All right.
Yeah.
So off the bat, I think everyone knew this was going to be a good matchup. It's the Battle of Alberta, rivalry cities in the same province. So two Canadian teams, it was going to be an offensively filled game. Like you have McDavid and Draisaitl, like a 50-goal scorer, the Art Ross Trophy winner, versus Calgary's first line, which every player put up 40 goals. Plus, you had Johnny Gaudreau, who was second in points behind McDavid. And you also had Tkachuk, who also put up a 100-point season. So this was going to be an offensive... What?
Oh, he only got 99 points.
No, Tkachuk got over 100.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's like first game, I knew this was going to be an offensive bloodbath. So game one, just Calgary scored 2 in the first 2 minutes of the game. And the interesting thing about this is like they had to go against Jake Ottinger in the Stars. And it just shows how much Ottinger just shut down the Flames in that first series.
You're like, holy shit. Like, if the goalie's not Ottinger, he could actually put some pucks in the net easily.
Yeah, so it was a back and forth game. Well, at first, Calgary was destroying Edmonton. And it was like 5-1. And it's like the only reason why the commentators thought Edmonton was still in this was McDavid had a lot of chances and he was practically carrying this team. Second period rolls around. Next thing you know, it's 6-2. But then Edmonton rattles off 3 straight goals to make it 5-6 at the end of the third. And then again, in the beginning minutes of the third, Edmonton ties it to make it 6-6. then Calgary was able to score 2 more goals and the empty netter to solidify the 6-9 win. And I have to say, that was probably the best game I've watched this year because it was just a back and forth. Like, you just saw the chemistry of that Calgary's first line, just moving that puck around. Edmonton could not get it out of their zone. Then you just see classic McDavid just carrying that team. And it's like, as soon as he enters the offensive zone with his speed, you know he's going to make something happen or make a play, just pass it off to some random defenseman or forward, and they're just like wide open and they get the goal. Like,
yeah,
it was just a nonstop offensive game, and it was great to watch.
Yeah. So besides that exciting game 1, they really came back in the next 2 games. Edmonton's up 2-1 in the series right now. Yep. McDavid's absolutely carrying them. Mike Smith turned back the clock. Also, one of the most streakiest goalies I have ever seen. He's either looked like utter dog shit this series, or he's just turning back time and proving like he's looking like 2015 Mike Smith when he was just carrying the Yotes through the playoffs. He's the most inconsistent thing I've ever seen. And then Jacob Markstrom, he's got to figure it out. It's just he has not looked good this series.
Question, because you guys are more tapped in than I am. I know they yanked, was it Smith who started the game?
Yeah, yesterday? Mike Smith started, yeah.
They yanked him, after there was, like, a collision. Do you guys know if, like, he's good to keep playing or if he's, like, out long term?
Was this game 1 or game 3?
This was game 3. This was the game last night. There was a collision, like, behind the net, and then there was, like, a big fight, and then he got yanked for whoever their backup goalie.
Oh, was that when like Lucic like barely?
Yeah. That's what he's talking about. I haven't heard anything yet. I don't think
I'm assuming he's fine.
Details. Okay. I'm assuming he's fine because I think they said Mike Smith got up and looks perfectly fine, so he should be good to play.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big like listening to commentary guy, so I just had the TV muted, and then like I just saw he was out of the game. Next time I looked up, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything major yet, but he seems to be fine.
Okay. That was my one question because, you guys are way more tapped into hockey than I am, so.
All right, so let's move on to another series. We have the Tampa versus Florida. Let's go move on to that one. That's going to be a quick one. Tampa's just dominating Florida. Florida just can't find that offense that they had in the regular season, and Tampa's proven why they're the defending Cup champions.
Yeah, it's one player, Andrei Vasilevskiy.
Yeah, he's carrying that team.
Yeah, he's like Florida cannot find a hole to get past him.
Yeah.
And it's looking bad for my bracket now that they're down 3-0.
Yeah, they're ruining everyone's. Yeah, just
not mine. I had him 3-peating. Let's go.
That was probably smart, but
like you and Jeremy both. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're the best team. Let's be honest.
They are. I think after the first round, Tampa's just looking like the best team at this point. So that's a pretty quick summary of that series. Let's move on to the Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Series is 2-1 Carolina. Very low scoring series.
Yeah.
Battle of goaltending. Antti Ranta's looked good. And then last night, Igor Shesterkin finally stole a game. Like Carolina was outchancing them all night, and then Igor just shut them down. I was waiting for a game like this where Igor was just absolutely robs a game from somebody. He hasn't had that playoff moment yet, and I think this is the first one we've had so far because against Pittsburgh, he's let in a lot. But this game, he finally shut him down. Anything to add on to it, Evan?
Yeah, I was kind of expecting like a low scoring series for them because Carolina is just really good defensively.
Yeah.
And like they have like their all-stars and their power play to score. Then the Rangers, they also have a pretty good defense as well. And the only thing this proves to me is that they probably should have kept Buchnevich for that a little offensive punch.
Yeah.
And like if there's one thing I want to criticize about the Rangers, it's like the moves they made this offseason, because it's like most of the moves they made, I didn't think they'd make the team better. They just want to get tougher because playoff hockey, and they have nightmares with Tom Wilson.
Well, speaking of toughness, things got a little physical in the last game. At the end of the shift, Max Domi and Tony D'Angelo started to stir shit up, just like cross-checking after the whistle, and there was a huge scrum that got thrown out, and just gave me another reason to hate Tony D'Angelo.
Well, I was kind of expecting something like this to happen in this series. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, we always love the physical fights and the emotional playoff series. It's what makes playoff hockey great because you could actually take your emotions out on the opponent.
Going reason. Back to the first series of Calgary and Edmonton, Evander Kane and Matthew Tkachuk have just been going.
Oh God,
and
talk
it's
about
been
the shit
great.
Talk. Yeah.
The problem is that Kane got a hat trick last game, and Tkachuk hasn't really. That's what I think. Much.
When has shit talking ever worked? Because in my experience, it only gets the other team more riled up. And Evander Kane, Matthew Tkachuk threw the low blow of talking about, hey, you need some money to Evander Kane, who's known to have gambling issues. And and then he proceeds just to light up the Flames next game. I just don't know of another opportunity of when it's actually worked before.
I mean, I know it worked well for Larry Bird, and that's the only example I can give where he was able to shit talk and still destroy teams.
I feel like basketball is one of the only ones where it works, just because if you're you have the players that are so dominant over anyone else, you can shit talk as much as you want, and the other team can't do a thing about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny, emotional series.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
Do you guys? I mean, I might be wrong here, but would you guys agree that the Rangers are the worst team here left in the playoffs? Because that's what it feels like. Is that they just are completely reliant on Shesterkin, and other than that, they got nothing. Because they barely beat the Penguins, and the Penguins were on a third-string goalie. It's just I don't know.
I feel it's either Rangers or Edmonton, just because just all around team. Just because I do not trust Edmonton's goalie. Mike Smith, is so inconsistent. And then you just have your two all-stars kind of carrying the teams. But it's just they have McDavid. That's the issue. You have Connor McDavid. You're always in it. But...
Yeah, and the thing about it is, from evidence, it's more teams have been carried by a player doing well. Well, goalies have carried teams to the playoffs, but, I just can't see Shesterkin, who has limited playoff experience, carrying that team there, because it doesn't have the same feeling as St. Louis or other teams I've watched where a goaltender carries a team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he doesn't give me the Jonathan Quick or Tim Thomas vibes or Vasilevsky of he's going to take this team to the promised land. Nothing's going to stop him.
Or Dominic Hasek, if that matters.
Because he hasn't really shown to us that he can do that yet. But I would say, yeah, I agree with you, Hayden. I think the Rangers are the weakest team left.
Yeah, same here. Just based off what I'm seeing, it's more likely McDavid carries Edmonton.
Only because Edmonton has Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
If he has the chance, that's the only reason. Yeah. He can set people up.
You got people there.
Yeah. Zach Hyman's playing pretty well. Evander Kane's playing well. And if Mike Smith is on, he's on. I think at moments, Edmonton has shown more to me that they're the better team.
They have a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might have a slightly lower floor, but they have a higher ceiling by far.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Aiden.
And the thing about the Rangers is their forwards have been very quiet between these two series, because Artemi Panarin, even though he got the game-winning goal in Game 7, it's he hasn't done much. Zibanejad has only showed up for the first few games. Zibanejad has just shown up in these last 3. Then it's their offense is just inconsistent right now. They haven't proven to me that they can be that high scoring team that can advance to the playoffs.
Yeah, so but either way, I am fully rooting for the Rangers in this series, because fuck you, Tony D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw the coach mouthing off Tony D'Angelo in the middle of the game. You could hear him mouth fuck off or something, or get the fuck out of here. Oh, and then another fun statistic: Carolina hasn't won an away game all playoffs. Every win they've had is when they were the home team. So let's see if that statistic
They're
carries
the
on.
first seed, right?
For the Metro.
For the Metro, yeah.
Okay.
So if they face Tampa, they'll have the advantage there. And then they'll either face Edmonton, Calgary, St. Louis or Colorado. I think Colorado and St. Louis did better.
Speaking of playoffs,
if they face Colorado, Colorado definitely has the home field advantage, so they can't rely on the home team thing.
Yeah, I was going to say they could just ride that to the cup, but
yeah, like if you're winning every home game, that you don't care to have the advantage in every series then, but not with Colorado, unfortunately.
Yeah, speaking of
that's when they win their first away game. That's when they win their first away game.
Yeah, they just need that one. What were you saying, F?
I was trying to make a sleeky transition. Like, speaking of Colorado, let's move.
Let's talk about that
St. Louis series.
Yeah. Excellent transition, Evan.
Yeah.
So proud of you guys.
So Colorado's just looks like the better team. They've been so dominant in every facet except goaltending, which Jordan Binnington has looked like the best player for St. Louis this playoffs. Like, he helped stonewall the Wild, and game 1, he just shut down. Colorado couldn't do anything. Like, him in the post, because they hit the post 5 times that in game 1. So Colorado just had such a hard time scoring against him. And then they finally got that game winner. And then he helped them win game 2. And then in game 3, unfortunately, Nazem Kadri was slid into him. And I think the defenseman pushed him a bit too. And then it sounds like Jordan Binnington is out for the rest of the playoffs with a leg injury. So that's a huge loss for the St. Louis Blues. Your experienced playoff goaltender who's won you a cup before and has looked like the best player in your series just goes out with an injury like that. That's just bad for St. Louis. I think that kind of seals the deal of them losing this series, because it's just when your best goalie is on a hot streak like that and just having it diminished, it's brutal.
Yeah. I mean, also, I'll be honest. I never thought the Blues had a chance here. Everything would have to go wrong for the Avalanche to lose this series.
It's kind of the nail in the coffin.
It hasn't, so they're good,
Yeah.
Enjoy playing the winner of the Flames or Oilers.
And then also there was an injury to Colorado defenseman. What's his first name? His last name's Girard, and he just got smoked by Pavel Buchnevich.
Samuel Girard, yeah.
He just got absolutely clean hit, like shoulder right to the sternum. It was clean hit, but it was just brutal. And then he's out for the rest of the season with a broken sternum. So it's a rough hit for Samuel Girard. And that's a big loss on the blue line for Colorado. But luckily they got the depth to fill in that gap in the lineup. But man, what a brutal injury for Samuel Girard.
Yeah, and I just want to mention Ryan O'Reilly a little bit. Just I think he's having an underrated playoff run because, again, he won the Selke. He's doing wonders for both sides of the puck. Like we mentioned.
Also has a Conn Smythe.
Yeah, Conn Smythe as well. And he's
playoff MVP, Aiden.
Yeah, he's the forward that is helping St. Louis get points on the board, but he's also very responsible defensively, aka as being a former Selke winner.
Yeah.
The award that you guys hate. But yeah.
It's mostly Jeremy.
Yeah, but yeah, Ryan O'Reilly's having pretty good playoffs. He's just been consistent, and David Perron has been putting up points in bunches. But you can't compete with Colorado's depth and
speed
offensive
and just
might.
outshooting them. They just control possession.
Cale Makar, he's doing wonders in the playoffs right now as a defenseman.
Yeah.
Doing takeaways, playing his position, and on the offensive side, he's also just contributing so many scoring chances.
Hayden, anything else you would like to add?
Well, no, I was gonna ask if you guys wanted to quick do predictions for the rest of this round, who's gonna win each of the series,
Yeah.
Oh, before we do that, can I just explain someone else's predictions? He's a famous person called. Have you ever heard of Wayne Gretzky?
No, never heard of the guy.
Yeah, so he made a bracket, And despite being the Edmonton's franchise leader in points, goals, assists, he predicted Calgary to beat Edmonton in the second round and move on to the conference finals.
That's tough when your franchise leader, greatest player of all time, chooses the division rival over your team.
Yeah.
Team he played for, he's got no loyalties. I'm like, I'm a broadcaster analyst now. There are no loyalties anymore. And one thing I'd like to... Sorry, you were saying something, Hayden?
No, you're good.
All right. So I just want to preface, so Nazem Kadri, the player who ran into Jordan Binnington on accident, so he is of Middle Eastern descent, I believe, and he had some pretty, how do I put this? He had some death threats online and some racial slurs used against him, and it's just like, to whoever did that, fuck you, you worthless degenerate. How low do you have to go in order to go after a player over a freak accident? Fuck you.
I mean, it's like, here's the thing. Kadri has some like playoff history of like making some stupid penalties that injured people, but this one was...
That's no excuse. No excuse to go after
that. This one, it's like, it's clearly like not intentional.
Yeah, and just going like, and just using racial slurs and death. It's just, you're a despicable person. Yeah, fuck you. All right, let's move on to the playoff predictions. I think I'm going to stand firm in my predictions. I think I have the Avs in Calgary. I think Calgary can come back because Mike Smith, for every good game, he has an awful game. So I think Calgary will be just fine. Tampa's fucked. I mean, Florida's fucked. Tampa's going on. And then you have Rangers, Carolina. I'm still going on Rangers. Fuck you, Tony DeAngelo. And I think now that Florida's gone, I think Tampa's going to win the East against the Avs. And I can't wait for that series. That would be a fun series to watch.
Do you think it's Avs, Tampa, Stanley Cups? Okay.
Stanley Cup, yeah.
All right. So my predictions like sway a little differently, but still I predict like an Avs, Tampa, Stanley Cup. So Avs winning against St. Louis. I also think Calgary may come back if they win this game and make it to the conference final. Then for, unless the reverse, I would love to see a reverse sweep of Tampa.
Hey.
Like two bookends.
Wait, hey, Florida had the most 3-0 comebacks in the regular season. Yeah. They're down 3-0.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm just saying, like the bookmark of this dynasty where they get swept by a wild card to having a reverse sweep would just be a perfect storybook ending to the two-time Stanley Cup winner.
I don't think that's not
happening. You
have the Tampa undefeated after a loss stat.
Yeah.
So it's like they're fucked even if they do get a win in there. Like that stat kind of just they're just the most clutch team in the league.
It would be funny if it happened, but Tampa's going to win.
It's not happening.
Yeah. Then I did predict the Rangers to win against Carolina, but I'm kind of it kind of looks like I want to switch over to Carolina side because, to my opinion, they have the more convincing team to move on.
Nah, fuck you. Final. Fuck Tony DeAngelo. Fuck that.
Fuck Tony DeAngelo, but every other player, even goaltend. Well, not goaltending.
I'm not giving up my bias.
I think Carolina's going to be facing the Lightning and Lightning winning. So, Colorado, Tampa, final.
I'm not changing any of my predictions from last time. For those of you who don't know what it is, the Avalanche are going to beat the Blues. The Flames are going to beat the Oilers. The Hurricanes are going to beat the Rangers. And Tampa's going to beat the Panthers. So, pretty simple. And it's Flames to Lightning, Also,
fair guess.
Calgary should change their name to Flame. The
Calgary Flame.
That's
Singular.
Way cooler.
Yeah.
Way cooler. We had somebody over and they were like, they should change it to Flame. And I was like, you're so right. So shout out to Eli for that.
So I think, do you think Tampa Bay repeats?
Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
What about you, Ev? Do you think Tampa repeats? Calling it now.
Not just yet.
All right.
Nah, get on the hype train.
I'll wait until like they make the finals and I'll
Let's go
call it.
choo-choo. Let's go choo-choo. Come on.
No, I'm on Colorado. Colorado for me. I think Colorado.
Yeah, I want I want Colorado to win if anything, because again, I like McKinnon. He carried my team. And it's like, for me, like they're more likable than like, it's like you want to see a new winner. Like they're definitely more likable of Carolina because fuck Tony DeAngelo. Then again, as much as I'd love to see McDavid win his first cup, I don't want Evander Kane lifting the cup.
Oh, come on.
And then
that would be a fun story. Comeback player of the year?
Yeah, but like I don't want to see a guy
season?
who has been charged for abuse to lift the cup. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't go that far. Just like when it comes to the personal issues of a player, you don't know you don't know both sides of the story. I wouldn't even deter there. The reason why Tony DeAngelo is just an asshole is just because he's publicly.
Well, yeah,
used
there's
racial
evidence of
slurs.
his racial slurs that he's
Yeah,
used.
so like I get the Tony DeAngelo hate. The Evander Kane thing, like that's all personal. I don't even want to venture that area. But again,
That's a
answering
good
the
point.
question, do you think Tampa three-peats, or who do you want to win it other than who do you think is going to win it?
I think it's gonna be
You said it's
a
Avalanche.
Western Conference team that wins the cup this year, and I hope it's Colorado.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Shane, do you think the Avalanche are winning?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's my bet.
Listen, you guys can be wrong. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
If-
I
if
know
any
more about
team-
hockey than everybody. It's fine.
If any team's going to prove me wrong, it's going to be Tampa.
gonna be Tampa.
And I'm all right with that.
It's Tampa Bay, baby. All right.
Yeah.
The
If any
Rays
team's
are going
gonna
to
do
win
it,
it
it's
this year
Tampa
too.
Bay.
Well, actually, honestly, Tom Brady's still in Tampa Bay, so they might as well 3-peat, honestly.
The Rays are going to win the World Series this year.
Tom Brady unretired just so Tampa Bay could
They
win
could
their Stanley
3-peat.
Cup.
Yeah.
He was like,
That
wait a
needs to be a
second.
shirt.
He was like, fuck. Oh shit, what have I done? I need to unretire. That's the real reason.
No, he was just sick
Honestly,
of his
yeah, I
wife and
believe it.
kids. Or they were
Another
sick
very
of
bad
him.
reason.
I think they were sick of him.
Or both.
What do you think is more likely? Tom was sick of his wife and kids, or his wife and kids were sick of him?
Wife and kids were sick of him.
Yeah, if I was one of his kids, I'd be sick of him kissing me all the time.
Yeah, because he's like, hey, come on, give me a kiss. And they're like, no, please go away, unretire. I did better when you were gone.
We like your money more than you.
All right.
You guys
Let's
want
move
to tell me
on.
about the NBA playoffs?
NBA playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, NBA clapped, yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's good.
how about the Warriors?
Yeah,
Steph
up
Curry.
3-0 in the series.
Easy.
What a surprise. What a surprise.
Yeah,
I mean-
Steph Curry has been making those threes and just killing it overall, and can't wait to see the Warriors back in the final.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as soon as the Suns collapsed, you kind of had to see this coming. Like,
Yeah.
they were by far the best team in the West when the Suns and Chris Paul kind of fell off a cliff. So,
And then Golden State maintained their shooting's still good, and if Golden State's shooting is good, you're fucked. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Not all. I don't
yes.
watch much basketball, but again, it's like I would have to say
Oh, they're
Steph
so fun
Curry
to
is like
watch.
probably
Yeah.
my favorite player to watch because it's like
That whole team's
basketball's
so fun
never
to
really
watch.
appealed to me. But like the most satisfying thing about basketball is like making 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching it go in from like a long distance is like just an amazing feeling. And like seeing Steph Curry do it, it's like Ovechkin scoring. It's like some things never change.
I mean, it's just funny to watch them, like, watch people try to make a three, and then they, like, you know, like, when people, like, kind of watch it and they overdo it a bit,
yeah.
and then they just completely whiff on it, and they just airball it. That's the best feeling in basketball, in my opinion. It's just watching them, like, celebrate their three, and it's just an absolute airball is the best feeling in basketball as a viewer, in my opinion. Except for when Kyle Kuzma does it. That is the worst feeling ever.
They just
but-
like to be mocked for airballing it. They just
Yeah.
love to hear the crowd say airball.
Yeah. It's a
Like, you
blast.
know, they're a good team when like people who don't know shit about basketball is like, oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Or, and then-
We know so much about basketball here.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Like
a bunch of short, stocky white guys, and then Hayden. Anyway, so moving on, we have the a lot closer series, Miami and Boston.
Yeah.
So I think this one's going to 7 games. I think that this one's going to 7 games. And just Jimmy Butler's looked so good. Mm-hmm. Like there's just no stopping him. And then Jaylen Brown's really stepped up for the Boston Celtics. And then from what I've seen, Jason Tatum, he could be a bit better. And if they're going to come back in this series, Jason Tatum needs to like go 1-for-1 with Jimmy Butler and prove that he's the best player in this series.
Yeah, from what I looked at the stats beforehand, the Celtics look like they have like a more well-rounded team.
Their defense, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're more complete, but like the Heat, like again, like most basketball teams, star power. Butler is having an amazing series right now. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting to see how these next games play out between the two.
Yeah, I guess there's Game 7 written all over it, and that would be an exciting Game 7 to watch.
What do you guys think wins this series?
I have not doubted Boston yet. I'm still gonna ride the Boston bandwagon, and I think they go all the way still.
Evan?
So from what I've heard, the Celtics versus Milwaukee was like whoever wins the series will probably win the championship, and I'm going to go off that and say Boston wins.
Yeah. Okay, we're all in agreement there. I just wanted to make sure that no one here was dumb. Congrats, you all passed. If only you guys knew anything about hockey, then we'd be good. But,
yeah.
Quick question though: has there ever been a reverse sweep in basketball?
No.
Sure. No?
I don't think there's ever been one. Because it's only happened in hockey and baseball. And then like hockey's happened the most often. Baseball, it's happened once, I believe. And then basketball's never happened.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And
then
so there's only been 3-1?
Yeah, 3-1 by LeBron James Cavaliers.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right. So, Hayden, do you want to take up the baseball segment?
I'm actually in the 1951 NBA Finals. There was a 3-0 comeback, and then
there was.
Yeah, there's 3. The 2003 Western Conference first round, and then the 1994 Western Conference second round between the Nuggets and the Jazz. The first one was the Trailblazers and the Mavericks. This is according to Wikipedia. Oh, these are unsuccessful ones. Never mind, I'm illiterate.
As we've established.
Why would this be on here? Why would this be on here if it's...
These teams were able to tie it, but they still ended up losing.
Yeah, they ended up tying it, and then they ended up losing. That's exactly what happened. Good job.
I was going to say, I'm like, I don't think it's happened 3 times. Like, how did they go mid-0? Like, 0-3. That's off by a shit ton. And I'm pretty sure you know about the baseball one, I assume.
The baseball one?
Wasn't that
the
2004 ALCS?
Yeah.
Red Sox over the Yankees.
Wow, what a...
And they won. That was when they broke their curse, the curse of the Bambino.
What a way to end your curse with the reverse sweep.
Well, that was in the ALCS, and they went on to win the World Series after that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's funny because the Kings did that in the first round against the Sharks, and then they went on to win it all, too.
That was in 2014, right?
Yeah. I guess it's like when you've done the impossible,
you can do anything.
You can do anything at that point.
Then you had Justin Williams there to win every Game 7 for you.
Yeah. All right, so going back, Hayden, wasn't there like one minor baseball news thing, or?
Oh, there's like the fun stat thing, and then there's like the really serious conversation about race in baseball, which is always a fun conversation to have, especially among 3 whitish guys.
Just what this world needs: 3 whitish guys. Well, technically, we have 2 white guys and an Asian here. Because me and Evan together, we create 1 white guy and an Asian. So
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But no, the fun stat thing was Mike Trout. 3 players entering their age 30 or during their age 30 season have had 1,000 runs scored, 300 plus home runs, and 200 plus stolen bases. And it was Mike Trout, Alex Rodriguez, and Willie Mays. And Willie Mays is top 5 player all time. A-Rod, if he didn't do PEDs, would be a top 5 player all time. And Mike Trout, by the end of his career, is probably going to be a top 5 player all time. So, it's just, another stat where, Mike Trout's really good at baseball.
Yeah.
Which is, my favorite kind of stats. Because, Mike Trout's just so good.
The GOAT.
He is the GOAT. In my opinion, he's going to be the GOAT. But I'm just some guy. I'm just the hockey guy here. So, like, I don't know for sure. And then on to the very serious conversation. So there was an incident on Saturday in the White Sox-Yankees game where a Yankees third baseman, Josh Donaldson, called White Sox shortstop. He said the White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson. Words hard. So many words. White Sox shortstop. I said that right, didn't I?
Yeah,
Yes.
White Sox shortstop.
I'm just saying so many words so quickly that, like, they're no longer making sense in my brain, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're illiterate. That's kind of it doesn't help with that.
I'm going to slow down a little bit, I think. I think that's what I need to do. Anyways, he was like, hey, what's up, Jackie? To Tim Anderson, who is a black baseball player. And after the game, Josh Donaldson was like, yeah, no, we've joked about that a few times because in a Sports Illustrated article back in like 2016, 2017, Tim Anderson referred to himself as this generation's Jackie Robinson. And this is, in that quote, he was talking about breaking down like the fun barrier because, baseball is very much like or 4 or 5 years ago, it was like, you can't have any fun, no backflips, no cool like chains, like you have to wear your uniform all buttoned up, like very strict on that kind of stuff. And now it's very much
like the NFL
loosened it up a ton. And he was kind of like one of those people that were kind of spearheading that, like, hey, it's a game, let's just have fun.
It's only a game.
Yeah, it's only a game.
You have to be mad.
Just have fun, please.
Greatest hockey meme of all time.
And so he was kind of referring to him breaking down that barrier similar to how Jackie Robinson broke down the color barrier.
It's a better metaphor.
There's a better metaphor for it, but I understand where he was going with it. It's just like to compare,
race with fun.
Talk about segregation versus, having fun in a game.
Where you get paid millions of dollars.
Yeah, could have been better with that metaphor.
Yeah.
And Josh Donaldson said, hey, yeah, we had this back and forth, and, every single time we laughed about it, like, I didn't realize anything changed. Some part of the reason why, like, speculation was there was kind of a scuffle between the two a little bit. They, a few weeks back, White Sox player struck out when Tim Anderson was on third base, and Josh Donaldson third baseman, and the catcher threw it to try to pick off Anderson at third, and then when Donaldson was swiping, he essentially pushed him off the bag. And that really rubbed Anderson the wrong way, and there was some shoving, and like the ump had to separate them. And so like that was kind of like when this first came out, they were like, hey, remember this happened, and now they're not getting along. But I mean, there's just a lot of like racial undertones when like a very white baseball player is like, hey, Jackie, how you doing? Like, that's just not like, that's just not funny.
Yeah.
That wasn't funny to begin with.
I'm just like, buddy, like, why don't, like, it may have been a gag before, but not now.
Yeah.
It very much felt like kind of like, at least from my take on it, was that Tim Anderson kind of laughed it off, and then now they have like this kind of beef, and he was like, okay, like, that's not funny anymore. And that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, even when you have like the 800-year-old Tony La Russa coming out and being like the White Sox manager and be like, yeah, no, that's like kind of racist. You shouldn't be saying that. It's not a good look for Josh Donaldson. The MLB did end up suspending him for 1 game and giving him a fine. And
one game,
and he is
out of 150,
162 games, and he's contesting it. So he's like, I don't think I deserve that.
What the fuck?
Stop. And so he's gonna.
Yeah, that's punishment. They should give him more games.
I don't think he can do that, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's like I contest it. Why? I think I should be suspended more. Pull a reverse card.
Yeah, I don't get contesting a day-long ban.
Yeah,
that's just
dude.
You have vacation.
He also just went on the COVID IL. So that's also, fun. You get test positive for COVID or you're close contact or a COVID test positive, and you're also going to contest your ban and call somebody Jackie. Yeah, not a good week for Josh Donaldson.
Not a lot of good decisions either. Just keep your suck it up and just serve your game suspension and then it's over.
Yeah,
why do you have to stir up more drama with this shit?
It's just, yeah, I don't know why you would do that. Even Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager now I'm seeing, was like, yeah, he probably shouldn't have said that. He was like, that comment, shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
It's just inappropriate to begin with. This is kind of just how Josh Donaldson is, though. He's very much like just a troll, and I don't like him. He's got one of those faces where you just don't like the guy.
Yeah.
Which makes it even worse. And so, I mean, that's not to say that, like, to make what he did even more wrong, or it's just, I've never really liked the guy for that and various other reasons. He just kind of comes across like a douche. And yeah, it's just, that's kind of it. There's not really thoughts that you can give to this other than, like, Josh Donaldson, don't do that. That's kind of racist. Especially for a sport where it is
100% racist. It's
not
kind of racist.
It's racist.
Yeah, unless the guy's name is Jack or his actual name is Jackie, it's racist.
Yeah, it's just racist, and you can't be doing that.
Like Evan, we've had a very similar experience to this in an ice hockey game.
Yeah,
where I'm not going to name any names, but someone
was called a
black
player
PK Subban, which is like, of course, black players in the NHL, they stick out like a sore thumb because it's like 99.9% white.
Mm-hmm.
So like PK Subban, one of the only black players in the league.
He's also
just like, yeah, it's just like calling, just like, dude, just no. It's just like, why? Yeah. You're just being a dick. You're only doing that to be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way around it.
No.
So, unfortunately,
it's racist and being a dick.
Yeah. So it's just like, don't do that. Don't be a dick. It's fucked up no matter what way you cut it. There's like no justifying it.
No, not at all. Completely agree. Yeah. That was pretty much it. I'm just trying to look to see if there's any other things. MLB said that, it was racist, but also part of the reason why we're suspending him is because it led to the benches clearing. And because, there was like not a brawl, but like the benches cleared and they all yelled angrily at each other on the field and delayed the game. That's also part of the reason why he's suspended for a game. Which I don't know why you would bring that up in this scenario, but
Yeah, because if you bring something more onto it, it sounds like he should be suspended for more.
Yeah. It's
like
baseball struggled to like gain an audience other than like white men in the United States. More and more of their player base is just white men, and if they're not white men, they're from Latin America. So it's just, it's not a good. It's just, Yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore.
It's just
it's just kind of expected from baseball. Like when I saw this headline, I was like, oh, I'm surprised we don't see this more. But
That's kind of bad.
I just
it's
like how
bad, but that's just how it is.
They're like cluelessly de-emphasizing like, oh, it's racist, but also they also inconvenienced our agenda.
Yeah.
For one singular.
It's
so dumb.
It's very dumb. There's just a lot of players. A lot of the White Sox players are really mad. I've seen more White Sox players complain about it than Tim Anderson. Which I think that's just them being vocal and defending their teammate. But
I'll have to say it's been a rough for sports for Chicago in these past few years.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I guess first you have the Chicago Blackhawks scandal.
That's a whole other issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough year to be a Chicago sports fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all the sports stuff we have to talk about, right?
Yeah, that's all the sports stuff. Do you guys want to?
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do? You guys want to do Hayden's question of the week?
Let's save that for the end.
Save that.
Shane said he wanted to interview me about.
Shane with the interview. Okay, I'm
so
down. Let's do it.
Yeah. So Evan's like a long-time loyal listener, supporting his brother's projects. You know, he's like been our like one viewer. Yeah, our one viewer on our YouTube stream sometimes. And I just want to ask you a few questions about the show. So a few fun ones. So do you have like a favorite moment of the show? Like what was your most like funny, hilarious thing that you've heard? Or like, is there a hot take like you agree with or disagree with like passionately?
My favorite moment, the one that sticks out the most, I don't know how this got brought up, but I think Hayden or Jeremy was like, okay, who would win? 1,000 ducks or the sun?
I think it was the question of the week.
That was the question of the week.
Yeah, definitely a question.
And Shane was like the sun, and the other guys are like, no, it's ducks because there's more of them. I'm just like, they're seriously talking about this. Okay, that's like the most funny moment. Man.
Then, I think it was raccoons, but yeah, or possums. I think it was possums.
It was some animal.
It was a small animal.
The hottest thing in our solar system.
A tiny animal
versus the sun.
Yeah.
So who would win though, Evan?
The animal, of course.
As a person who's taking chemistry and all those other classes, I would imagine something that's
some classes
almost as hot as a bolt of lightning could disintegrate all those animals within a few hundred miles.
Well, you see, they just like pack together behind each other.
What is this?
So that way, it's just like they don't know. They like.
So here's what the animals do. They come. They have the sentience
so like
to
they
compact together.
So
they form like a
black hole.
They form a ball,
and then they eat the sun.
No, they form a ball, and the one in the middle is gonna stay alive, and then he's gonna punch a hole through the sun. I've thought it out. All right, I've done all the math.
Yeah, the problem is I think the theory that Shane and I came up with would probably beat the sun better than yours. But yeah, we'll go with that.
Because they played on one being alive. So he would be the last one standing to make it a guaranteed victory.
Well, also, you say you took a bunch of like these weird chemistry classes. I've
Fake
seen
sciences.
The Martian with Matt Damon. So I think I am the reigning
more credible,
on this.
Space. You definitely have the qualifications.
Yeah.
No, so Hayden, I've seen that movie twice.
I've read the book.
So
there you go.
Checkmate.
Yeah. It's a good book. You should read it.
Yeah, it's on the list. Like once I finish these other books, like hopefully by the end of the summer I can get to it.
Yeah.
All right, Evan. So like the second question, what was like the biggest hot take you either agreed or disagreed with that you remember?
I remember you guys were like really high on the Ducks at the beginning of the season, and I thought that was interesting.
Baby.
Quack, baby.
Yeah, because again, it's like at the time, it's like, like the rookies are popping off, and it's like if this continues, they could make the playoffs, but now like sustainability just wasn't there for them, and that's like one of the hot takes I remember. Then, like the beginning of the season, Like I think you and Jeremy were arguing about who would you trust more, Kirk Cousins or like the Panthers quarterback at the time. What was his name again?
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, you're like Sam Darnold versus Kirk Cousins, and you were like, we know what to expect out of Kirk Cousins. We don't know what to expect out of. I've already forgot his name again.
Sam Darnold.
It's forgettable. Sam Darnold. Yeah, and it's like Kirk Cousins is more proven than Sam Darnold, and the Vikings are more likely to have a better record than Carolina, and we were right.
Yeah, Jeremy was very high on the Panthers
Very high.
last season.
That was like
And
the hot
then-
take where I'm just like, no. And it's like, as a Minnesota Wild fan, it's like, I know the problems with Kirk Cousins, but
Vikings.
I'd rather have Kirk Cousins than Sam Darnold.
Minnesota Wild
Anyway.
fan with Kirk Cousins.
No, because Kirk Cousins, the power play quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, power
the
play.
power play quarterback for the Wilds. Anyway, oh yeah, so that was a very those football discussions with Jeremy. Yeah,
that's
they're
just like,
fun.
it's like we have Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook is less injury prone than Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just like,
it's definitely fun with Jeremy
Minnesota
sometimes
bias.
because at least he won't.
yeah,
he
Minnesota
won't-
bias, but again, it's like Sam Darnold versus Kirk Cousins. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well,
Sam Darnold
hindsight's
to go.
2020. Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, but still, it's like Kirk Cousins, you can expect 30 touchdowns and 4,000 yards.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Because if
That's
Sam
the
Darnold
hot
popped
take
off
that
this
just like
season,
rubbed me the wrong way that I remember.
yeah. Well, yeah. Jeremy has a lot of interesting takes. That's
Yeah.
one of the best parts about him.
For
Just
sure.
like we just find stuff to disagree about, and it creates for fun conversation.
Yeah.
So,
you have more questions. Okay.
hey, you can go.
I had a question. I don't know if you have this on your list of questions, Shane. I don't know if you have a list of questions. But I was wondering what your favorite like running gag was, because I feel like we got a lot of those. So I was wondering if you had a favorite one.
Definitely the Ducks.
The
That's
Ducks,
my
okay.
favorite running gag. Yeah. Quack, quack.
Quack quack.
Quack,
baby.
quack. That's a good one.
Yeah, because
Mine-
it's like somehow every way in every hockey discussion, it's like, do you know who the actual winner is going to be? The Ducks in the Stanley Cup Final. Like, they're not going to. They're
I
just
still
going
have
to
faith.
come out of
I still have
nowhere.
faith. I still have faith. All right.
Like Colorado is like suddenly their plane crashes. All their players they survive, but they're all injured. And it's like, what team do we need to replace them? Oh yeah, the
No.
Ducks.
That's
And
not
they
what
somehow
happens.
beat the Lightning.
It's at the end after they win the Stanley Cup, they all rip off like a mask. And it was the Ducks
Like the
all
most
along.
impossible movie.
Yeah, no, that one's good. I'm a big fan of the SAT word one, which is very much under the radar, but happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's my
I
favorite.
mean, it was a lot more common when we're all in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that joke in general. Like
Yeah.
even outside of the show, it's just fun.
Because I know halfway through fall semester, Jeremy just started pulling these words out of
Oh, yeah.
nowhere. And I'm like, where the hell did you start talking like this,
You
Jeremy?
see, I thought he was going to keep it going, and I figured by the end of the year, we could have like an hour and 30-minute long compilation of just SAT word.
Yeah.
But no, Jeremy stopped using them.
Yeah, he slowed down a bit.
Slow down a bit. All right, Shane, ask your question.
Yeah, so on the other side, did you have a hot take that you agreed with? That you remember off the top of your head? You're like,
Nah, none that stick out for me mainly because
yeah.
like most of the times when I listen to your show, it's like background noise when I was doing my own work. So it's like, also it's like I was mainly listening for Minnesota team and what you had to say,
Gotcha.
or like hockey stuff, and hearing your takes, then a little bit of football.
Gotcha.
Baseball segment
Yeah.
was your favorite, though, right?
I enjoy listening to Mike Trout, and it's like, that guy has a fish as his last name, and he's also really good. That's interesting.
Fair.
Yeah, for me, it's like I just know I just keep track of what teams are in the finals or something like that year.
Mhm, yeah. That's fair.
And I also know, fuck that Texas team that cheated. Yeah,
the Astros,
Astros. Yeah,
Houston. Mhm.
Houston Astros. Yeah.
So it's do you have any recommendations, anything we can improve on anything we do well, any general feedback for the show?
Honestly, you guys have been doing pretty well. Like structure has been decent. Well, just getting established structure, like you always start off with JMU. Then like depending on like the sports, like you do a good job in organization, then it's like, Jeremy provides the hot takes, then you and him discuss, and Hayden's just basically like the best form of comic relief, as well as baseball news.
He's the chaotic neutral.
Yeah, chaotic neutral, definitely in this trio.
Thanks. I really appreciate the feedback. It's nice to know we're doing
Yeah,
something
honestly,
right.
it's always good to listen to you guys, if I remember.
If you remember.
Yeah. The Instagram posting it helps because I'll be browsing and I'll be like, oh shoot, the radio show's on.
All right, so we got to keep up with that.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. All right, thanks. That's really useful feedback. That's all the questions I had lined up. Oh, who's your no, I can't do that one. I was gonna say who's your favorite host besides yours truly? But obviously, since there's only one of them here, you really can't do that.
Oh no, it's just still say Jeremy. That'd be hilarious. Really, that's Jeremy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hayden, but...
I think Hayden. I would say Hayden, but I'd say Jeremy Lapidus has the better name.
Jeremy Lapidus does have the better name. You got me there.
Better ring to it.
Yeah. It doesn't ring. I like Hayden.
But yeah, Hayden. Yeah, you're my second favorite.
Thank you. I'm the second favorite out of the three.
Yeah.
Or out of the four.
One's his twin brothers, so you're pretty
Obviously,
much first.
It has to be so.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'll make sure.
The best name has to go Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy has the best name. It's okay. Yeah. I mean, it is a J name though, so like I feel like you still knock a few points down, but it's just with a last name like Lapidus,
the only thing that matters is the last name.
It commands the room really, and
it's a very memorable name because I'm awful with names, but Lapidus, how could you forget that name?
Yeah, it's commanding. Like
it's like those Greece names with the us at the end.
Maximus Aurelius.
Maximus Cassius.
Oh, okay.
Constantinius.
That's isn't it the Romans?
Yeah, that's more Roman. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Leonidas. Spartacus.
Jimmy.
Very.
Yeah.
Very renowned Greek name.
Yeah.
Jimmy the Great.
I just thought of Greece because I know like Israel is like, somewhat closer to there.
Italy, it's there. It's all there. It's all the Mediterranean.
It got mixed up over the
past
the 1,000 years.
Yeah.
They're all there. They're all there. Okay.
It's Europe. They're all there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Europe, Western Europe.
I mean, it's all on the Mediterranean. It would be Eastern. I mean, Italy's more central, and then you have Greece like next to it across that little sea, and then go down the Mediterranean, you got Israel on that coast.
It was a culture mixing.
Yeah. I mean, it's trade. The Phoenicians or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a history major.
All I know is there's a lot of things that get screwed up in translation over 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like toilet.
No, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of the toilet, I know like the ancient Greeks, like they somehow had working toilets, but because of like pillaging and stuff, they lost that information. So it took for like another 1,000 years for like a working toilet to be made.
I mean, it's like the Library of Alexandria, or they lost all that information.
It's like California. It's like, hey, let's start fires for fun. Then it just got out of control.
I think that's a different.
Yeah.
One was the city got just absolutely.
Both were out of stupidity.
Yeah, both were out of stupidity.
One was somebody wanted to do a gender reveal party. I think there's different.
No, I think they're both pretty similar because one's like, hey, let's burn out all the known knowledge in the world that's been collected together. And the other one's like, hey, let's throw a party and destroy half the environment.
Well, it's like, what gender is our baby? And then, because isn't that how like the last big one was started. Was a gender reveal
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a sign that our baby's flaming?
It's the Calgary Flame. The chosen one. The Calgary
Well, we don't know
Flame.
which gender, but it's either a flame fan or very flaming.
Guys,
Or
I think our baby's gonna be very attractive.
He's gonna be very hot.
Yeah.
As hot as the sun against those 1,000 raccoons.
Hey, it was 3,000. Okay.
I think it was possums.
It was possum because it's
Yeah.
dead possum with the WXJM. So.
Yeah.
Well, if they're already dead, will the possum win?
Well,
Or
no.
the sun win?
No. It was a live possum, but the inspiration behind the possum itself was because there's the dead possum, like that's like their little brand thing for the WXJM. They do like music stuff related to it. I don't know. We kind of don't really talk to anybody in there. We probably should do work on that, but that's I don't know. I don't like one of the people in the WXJM stuff, but that's for different reasons.
And I feel like our talk show is kind of different from what other people do.
Well, yeah,
it's
everything
like,
else is like music and pop culture, like way more pop culture. Like
and then the
movies.
other talk show is like a mental health talk show or something like that. So it's just like it's kind of different from like sports talk show.
Or Manic
Yeah,
Pixie
but which
Dream
talk
Girl.
show has the best sense of
Yeah.
humor? This one.
What?
Which talk show has the best sense of humor, though?
I don't listen
I
to
don't
them.
know. We don't.
Exactly, this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we're the funniest podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome, guys, because I'm the
radio
comedic
show, yeah.
relief, which means that's all a compliment to me. Let's go.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
Yeah. Sports facts and stuff that may sometimes be right and kind of.
40% of the time, we're right every time.
Every time.
So it's nice to know that's our dynamic. Me and Jeremy arguing, and then Hayden in the background being funny.
Yeah, it's like, Aiden, what's your comment?
It's the ducks, baby. Quack, quack.
Yeah, it's like that's stuff like that.
Well, that's because okay, so I do have like genuine thoughts, but the problem is they debate out
thoughts.
They debate out my entire thing, and it's like I don't want to just regurgitate what they just said. So it's like I don't know what to say. So I'm just gonna funny.
Well, it's nice to get your insight, Ev. I think we should end the show off. I don't have any more questions. I didn't really.
Oh, we do have one more question. Hayden's question.
We have
Hayden's question of the week. Yeah.
All right. So I've technically already asked this before, but I think this one's one of my favorites that I've asked. And so I want to get
Who would win?
No, it was my other favorite one. Evan, Shane, if you want to come up with a new one, you can. New answer. Pitch me a sport.
Oh, okay, yeah. So do you know how like Shane came up with the concept of like have soccer but on like ice skates and stuff like that? Well, I thought about what if we do the exact same thing but with lacrosse.
So that's just hockey.
Except that like, you can carry the ball in the air, yeah.
Mm.
Just think about like all the hits and stuff and like how much faster it would be, and seeing people like in like lacrosse, like you're not allowed to be in the crease at all.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine people like skating at like 30 miles per hour, just jumping and throwing the ball and just like running into someone trying to avoid the crease. I feel like that would be amazing.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds.
Chaotic,
oh God, that's gonna be. It's going. Oh. It's like hockey's already dangerous, and then adding lacrosse to it, and then having to avoid getting in the crease.
I mean, if you want to make it dangerous, I got you one better. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
NFL on ice.
Yeah.
You have tackling and then razor blades at the bottom of your feet too.
It's like Disney on ice, but the NFL.
Just imagine the amount of broken ankles that would happen for going for jump balls.
This is the entire thing.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
no. It's a terrible idea.
Well, tackling with knives on your feet, Evan. Like, that's the more concerning part.
How do you want better? Rugby on ice.
I'll do you one better. Monster trucks on ice.
No stopping whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's not the like the people driving the cars that are gonna get hurt. It's the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you guys ever seen monster trucks?
No.
Like in person?
No.
Oh, is that just me?
Not in person,
Is that a white
but-
person thing?
Very much so. I'd be
Okay.
surprised if
I
it
think.
wasn't a white person thing.
I got taken to see monster trucks. I had to wear what are those earplugs or whatever. Nah, scary stuff.
No, we weren't like car kids. Like
Neither
we were all.
was I.
Oh, you got taken against your will.
I mean, I was like, oh, cool, trucks doing tricks, cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
we were.
I was like 8, so.
Yeah. We were very much like obsessed with like sharks. Like we weren't dinosaur kids. We were like huge shark kids. Like we went to the aquarium all the time. That was kind of our thing. And then of course hockey too.
Mm-hmm. Which I
think
mean,
that's what
there's some correlation there. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a hockey team called the Sharks. It both deals with water and frozen
I
water.
mean, that's until they make the Arizona Velociraptors. Okay, they got to rebrand because they can't play in their stadium anymore.
I don't know if they can take the Raptors though, because that'd be like copyright for
The Stegosauruses. I don't know.
the T-Rexes.
Just to resort it back from, do you know how we were talking about like how shitty some commissioners are and how sometimes they'll just do it for profit?
Oh yeah, Gary Bettman definitely
like,
has money.
Bettman is the
laundering scheme.
exact opposite because it's like, you know what would make a big profit? Moving Arizona to Quebec City, who's been like trying to get a team for the past 20 years.
Honestly, it's almost comedic how much they're trying. I love it just because it's so comedic how much they're trying to keep this team in Arizona.
Yeah.
Just
They're
imagine how
college
funny it's
stadium
gonna
now,
be.
aren't they?
Imagine how funny it's gonna be trying to see an NHL game at a college stadium.
Yeah.
Just every time you look at it, you can't help but smile and laugh. I'm like,
Such
wow,
a-
what
I
a
just
shit
feel
show.
bad. Again, it's after I feel bad for Clayton Keller because he's such a good player. But
Hey,
my God, you're part
Like
of
he's
a
still
trash
young
franchise.
and he's gonna be playing at a college campus regularly. You don't know, and he's like making 7-8 million a year, like no state tax in Arizona. Like he's probably gonna be living his best life, like around all those college girls. I feel like he'd be so happy with that.
And boys, we don't know.
And yeah,
Maybe he's bi.
I'm boys,
maybe.
yeah. There could be some chill guys.
Yeah. Some friends, you know? Some more than friends. History will say they were best friends, though. Do you
I
guys
think
have
it's an
anything
interesting
else?
storyline that's going. That'd be, just following that team in the college stadium they're gonna play in.
Just imagine like Phil Kessel just stealing all the hot dogs there. I would love to see that. Just you're just like in the cafeteria of the college. You're just getting food, and then you just see Phil Kessel right next to you. His plate just piled with food.
On hot dog day in the dining hall.
Yeah, on hot dog.
NHL players get a free dining hall meal.
Yeah.
Get
Even
a,
though they're already
dining pass.
millionaires who don't really need it. Like there's a bunch of these struggling college kids who like rely on scholarships and stuff. Then there's like these NHL players just getting free meals.
No, it's kind of fun
Well,
because even
man.
on the ice, the Arizona Coyotes don't even have permission to use their logo on the ice, and it's up to the university of whether or not they can put their logo on the ice. It's just a
Just move
college
this
team. A
already.
college has more say than the organization does on their facility.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. All right, I think that's.
I don't know what Batman sees in that team. Just
All right.
just move the team already.
All right, let's wrap up this show. Evan, thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us.
thank you for coming on.
We appreciate this a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Try to do
yeah,
it again
you-
this summer, maybe.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely drag you on, and then you can interact with Jeremy. That would be fun.
Yeah. Then you three can yell at each other, and then I'll just be here like, quack, quack, baby.
Quack quack, baby.
Yeah, when we discuss the Ducks off-season moves, potentially.
No.
No?
I'll just bring it up during the NFL segment.
It doesn't matter what they do; they'll be the best team in the league.
Any league, really.
All You know who's going to win the Super Bowl next year?
The Ducks,
The
baby.
Ducks.
Who's gonna win the NBA championship? The Ducks.
It always comes back to the Ducks.
Who's gonna win the World Series? The Ducks.
Ducks. Actually, it's the Rays. Tampa Bay. But
All right. So on that note, that's been the Triple Threat Show. I've been your host, Shane Brislin, joined by my fellow friends and co-hosts.
Hayden Raymer.
And special guest.
Evan Brisland.
And Jeremy
We'll
for a
see.
little bit.
And Jeremy for a little bit.